arrived on a gray morning, its wood damp from the mist that clung to the streets. No note, no address. The old shopkeeper dragged it inside, muttering curses under his breath. Business had been slow, the candy shop hanging by a thread. Maybe this was some promotional miracle, or a mistake. The crate groaned as it opened, nails straining against the wood. Inside sat a vending machine, like nothing he'd ever seen. Mechanical and polished to a gleam, it had a presence that felt wrong. The glass dome at the top revealed rows of perfectly round candies, their colors so vibrant they seemed to glow. He tilted the machine slightly, spotting words engraved on the underside.
Ayo go.
Go lah.
Ini yang abang. Kakak, abang mau foto ini.
Masya, jangan dapat kali main HP-nya.
Mana ada?
Try something different today, sweet and candy red. He snorted and shook his head. What's this stuff? Still, desperate times. He dusted off a corner near the front window and set the machine there. Its coin slot caught the light, winking at him like it knew something he didn't. The old man stared at it for a moment before fishing a coin from his pocket. One little test couldn't hurt. The coin clinked as it slid in. He pulled the lever, and the machine whirred mechanically, spitting out a single candy into the tray below. It was perfect, round, red, and faintly glistening. He rolled it in his palm before popping it into his mouth. The flavor hit him like a revelation. Sweetness loomed on his tongue, bright and irresistible. It was like every childhood memory condensed into
Tadi pas ini nyampe ya, saya ditabrak bang, mana yang nabraknya gak dari sini? Suruh aja ke sini gitu. Oh, saya takut domel. Iya kalau lu salah ngapain takut gitu, sebutin aja kemari. Segitu ngobrol.
Itu motor kakaknya. Baru turun plat nomor. Itu yang
Ini wajah-wajah.
Becek.
one perfect bite. For a moment, you forgot the world, forgot the bills, forgot the empty streets outside. Then, it turned. The sweetness soured, twisting into something sharp and metallic. His tongue burned, his throat tightening as if a fist had gripped it. His vision blurred, the shop tilting wildly.
Kalau lebih bagus diikuti ya tuh. Itu pasien atau bukan sih?
Round him, a pressure built in his chest, and his heart thudded like it was trying to escape. The whispers came next, soft at first, then getting louder. They skittered around his mind. His hands trembled, and he clawed at his shirt as though it might stop the suffocating weight pressing down on him. Then came the blood. At first, he dismissed the dampness under his arms, thinking it was sweat from the panic gripping him. But when he pulled his trembling hand away from his shirt, it was slick and red. His heart stopped, or at least it felt like it, as he looked down. Crimson stains seeped through his sleeves, pooling in the folds of his armpits. The sticky wetness spread to his toes, soaking his socks and dripping onto the wooden floor. He whispered, his voice shaky. No. The old man stumbled toward the mirror behind the counter, catching his reflection. Bloodshot eyes stared back at him, veins bulging and red tears streaming down his face. A faint trail of red trickled from his nose, dripping onto the counter. The sight twisted his stomach, and he nearly collapsed as the whispers in his head grew louder. His breath came in short, sharp gasps. He tried to wipe the blood away, but it only smeared, leaving crimson streaks on his pale skin. His trembling legs gave out, and he fell behind the counter, the whispers rising to a deafening roar in his ears. He stumbled backward, crashing into the shelves behind the counter. Glass jars rattled and fell, the sound barely registering. His knees buckled, and he collapsed onto the floor, gasping for air as the whispers rose to a crescendo. Cold sweat dripped down his back, pulling around him as his body shook uncontrollably. The machine stood silent, its polished surface reflecting the shopkeeper's pale, horrified face. Hours passed before the shopkeeper stirred. He sat up slowly, his breath shallow and uneven. Every inch of him screamed with exhaustion, his heart racing as though it might burst. His throat was raw, and every breath felt like swallowing shards of glass. The blood had dried, crusting over his skin and clothes. The whispers had faded. They still echoed faintly in the corners of his mind. He staggered to his feet, gripping the counter for support. His eyes darted to the candy machine in the corner, its polished surface gleaming in the dim light. The lever glinted, innocent and inviting, as if mocking him.
Dari mana?
Ya ilah. Kemana sini?
Nah, gimana tadi nih? Naik kereta api.
Acu.
Ya.
A sudden surge of anger jolted him into action. He grabbed a large garbage bag from behind the counter, the crinkle of the plastic loud in the stillness of the shop. With trembling hands, he approached the machine. His fingers hesitated on the glass dome containing the candies, but the whispers that had haunted him surged in his mind, spurring him forward. Hesitated on the glass dome containing the candies, but the whispers that had haunted him surged in his mind, spurring him forward. He yanked the dome off with a sharp pull, the glass cool and unnervingly smooth under his fingers. It felt heavier than he'd expected, or maybe that was just a weight of the fear gnawing at him. One by one, the gumballs tumbled into the bag, their faintly shimmering surfaces catching the light as they fell in an almost hypnotic cascade. The shopkeeper tightened the bag with a savage twist, tying it shut with a knot that his shaking hands barely managed. He marched to the alley behind the shop, each step driven by a mixture of determination and dread. The garbage bin stood there, rusting and leaning slightly to one side, its lid askew. He threw the bag inside with more force than necessary, the gumballs rattling against the metal like sinister marbles. Slamming the lid shut, he lingered for a moment, his breath coming in uneven gasps. The whispers in his mind seemed fainter now, but they weren't gone. Back inside the shop, his gaze drifted back to the machine. A wrench sat on the counter nearby, and for a moment, the temptation to destroy the machine entirely burned hot in his chest. He grabbed the wrench, its weight familiar and reassuring in his grip. But then he stopped. His knuckles turned white as he stared at the machine, its presence almost daring him to make the first move. What if destroying it made things worse? What if the whispers came back stronger, angrier? The shopkeeper set the wrench down, his hands shaking. Not yet, he whispered to himself, backing away. The machine remained, gleaming silently, patient as ever. He scrubbed at his arms, smearing dried blood into his sleeves. He could still feel the whispers slithering through his thoughts. Panic started to grip at him. That night, he bolted the shop door and hid in the back room, far from the machine's gleaming temptation. But the next morning, when he mustered the courage to unlock the shop and face the world, his heart sank. The machine was full again, its candy stock replenished as though nothing had happened. The polished surface seemed brighter, its engraving. Try something different today, sweet and candy red, catching the light with unnerving cheer. The shopkeeper backed away. He swore he heard faint whispers as he fled to the back room. The shopkeeper's mind unraveled day by day. He barely left the back room, haunted by panic attacks and phantom voices. His wife found him pacing, muttering under his breath, or staring blankly at the wall. "You're scaring the customers," she snapped, shoving an order book into his hands. "Stay here if you're going to be useless." She dismissed his warnings as nonsense. Overworked, she told herself. The man his age running a shop without help was bound to take a toll. To her, the machine was a blessing. Customers were curious, drawn to its sleek design and the novelty of its candies. Sales were up, and she had no intention of getting rid of it. One sunny afternoon, a young boy walked into the shop with his mother. He barely noticed the jars of licorice or the rows of sugar sticks. His attention locked onto the vending machine. His small hands clenched his mother's skirt, his voice rising in excitement. "I want that one," he said, pointing at the machine. His mother frowned. "You have plenty of candy at home." But I don't have that one. The boy whined, tugging harder. His voice grew louder with every protest, drawing glances from other customers. The mother sighed, digging into her purse for a coin. Fine, she said, her tone weary. She dropped the coin into his eager palm. But you're not eating it until after dinner, understand? The boy nodded, already bounding toward the machine. The coin clinked into the slot, and he pulled the lever with all his might.